Hello ladies and Mental Chan, and welcome to another tank review. Today we are looking at the Emil 2, the Swedish tier 9 heavy tank. Kind of weird to start at tier 9, but I really feel confident in reviewing this tank as I did ace it more than a couple of times. Didn't really have the luck to ace the Emil 1 while I was playing it. But yeah, the Emil 2, I mean, obviously known for its great turret armor, and let's look at just generally how good the turret is. So when it's on the flat ground, it can be penned by heat from most guns that it faces. Most tanks that have heat at tier 9 and 10 will be able to pen this, like T-54 320 heat gun will unreliably pen this, but you know, it is a possibility. But in general, AP you're just immune to that frontally in the turret at least. And the hull is a different story. It's not that great. You get 80mm of armor angled pretty well, and then you have some 115mm zones angled pretty well again. But this tank starts to shine. The armor starts to shine when you're using full gun depression that you have available. And you just look at those armor values. Like, nothing on this fucking planet will ever pen this. Like, not gonna happen, buddy. Some heat can high roll this high, but it's very unlikely. And the same part applies for your hull. This is just auto bounce angle at this point, so don't really bother shooting any of this if you are facing one of these. Your only option are really these tiny ass cupolas, but I would highly recommend just trying to avoid fighting it, or if you have to fight it, if you have an autoloader as well, or if this shit is on low health, you have to go for the lower plate when this tank is using its gun depression, because otherwise you're getting just get fucked. As for the rest of the armor, you have 60 side armor, 18 on the top, obviously huge RD fucking chewing toy here. Always gonna pen you if they're gonna hit you anywhere on those top zones. 60 side armor on the turret, and the front is 120. But whenever you're not facing your enemies frontally, you will get penetrated every time. And generally, if you're on a flat ground and they shoot you in the hull, you expect to get penned as well. That being said, let's get into the replay where I'm gonna talk through the rest of the stats as well, of course. Okay, so here we go. Gonna be trying something new today where I talk through the stats while replay is going, making it shorter. Also, you can see all the stats on the screen. We'll be comparing this to a 5120. So obviously all the red values are where this tank is worse, and the green ones where it is better. So we start off with 1700 hit points, 380 meter view range, top speed forwards 56, backwards 18, power to weight 14.21, tank traverse 30, turret traverse 20, gun elevation 8, depression 12. Terrain resistance is exactly the same as on the 5120. When we come to the gun, you have really shitty DPM of 1920, damage per shot 400, penetration 252, reload time of the mag 40 seconds, clip size 4, reload between shots in the magazine is 3.33, aiming time 2.8, accuracy 0.38. Soft stats, some are better, some are worse. Shell velocity 1000 meters. When you talk about the gun depression, you get 12 to the front and sides and 6 to the back. Okay, so hopefully you were able to see those numbers without too much difficulty, but if you were not, please let me know in the comments, and also make sure you mention what resolution you were watching in, because obviously if you're watching on a phone you won't be able to see fuck all. But we start off this game by shooting an IS into the ass and setting him on fire. And the first thing you're gonna notice is how bad the gun handling is on this gun. It really is not a very precise tool when it comes to the aiming time part of things. The accuracy is okay once you fully aim, but it takes quite a while to do that. But obviously that is the price to pay for having an insanely good turret at tier 9. And yeah, this is what generally happens when you shoot people with this tank. I mean, this is actually the worst thing that happens when you shoot people with this gun. They shoot your gun and you cry every time. But we had a pretty decent first mag either way, because we ammo wrecked that. Well, not ammo wrecked, but we've set that IS on fire. So now I clearly see that we are outnumbered as all hell here, and the thing you need to do is make the enemies shoot you in this fucking turret. I mean, these guys might not even realize that I've already fired. I mean, now they probably know, but they all kind of took cover and were super afraid of me, so that works out perfectly for me. And We do want to bait them into shooting me and chilling there for longer than they should, but at the same time we don't want to get shot in the gun once again. Gonna go for this T49 now. Hopefully I can finish him off as well, and I don't know why he sat still there, but we were able to kill him there. Now the Skoda is a bit of a pain in the ass just because, you know, it's a tier 9. We don't really want to fuck with those too much, and yeah, we're gonna pick up the kill here, and we are going for a reload once again. Kind of debating, should I run away or should I not, but the enemy team actually isn't pushing, and there's only, what, 4 of them left now. Already disposed of 2, and some of them are, well, you know, shot in the face a couple of times, so it should not be that hard for me to actually deal with the rest of them. I can actually clip the SD1 here in one go as well. The IS-6 might be a bit of a pain in the ass, but it looks like we're not even winning on the other side of the map, so I will have to win this side pretty much on my own, which is, you know, all the things at its usual. So how to play this tank? I mean, it's as obvious as it gets. Hull down is the name of the game, and you want to play it all the time. There's no real magic or science behind this. If you're not hull down, you're a shitty 120, and if you are hull down, you're a broken Swedish Emil 2, and that is really the difference between playing this properly or not. If you don't, if you can't or don't play hull down, you're just driving a terrible AMX 5120 with way worse gun handling, way shittier reload, and, you know, it's just worse in pretty much every way. But if you do find yourself hull down, this tank is fucking nuts. So my next play is a bit dodgy, but we need to push up the pace as the rest of the team is gonna fucking evaporate. Unluckily, he pens me there, but as I said, when you're on flat ground, this tank has no armor. So IS-6 shoots me as well, so that trade was actually pretty bad, especially because Russia fucking damage roll was 458 on an IS-6. That is pretty sad for me, but we are not gonna go for a reload. We're gonna plant this one shot into the ass of the IS-6, and you can see that the aiming time just doesn't even shrink for such a long period of time, but we do manage to end that guy's life as well and go for another reload. So in general, the ML2 is one of the best tier 9 heavy tanks, as long as you, well, if you can put it hull down, it's the best tier 9 heavy tank, no doubt about it. This tank is just nuts, but if you cannot find a hull down spot, it's actually below average. It has really bad DPM, as you can see. It has terrible gun stats as well compared to 5120, and it's, in general, if you're not hull down, this tank is not gonna be all that great. It still has an autoloader, so it still can make do, but, you know, you'd rather be driving a 5120 if you want an autoloader on flat ground, or even the T54E1, which does have way worse pen, but still pretty damn good tank. And now this is where the fun begins. Emil versus Emil, and the funny part is that his position is actually way better than mine, so we're actually pretty fucked here, because there's not really much I can do about him, because he is hull down. And this is probably my biggest grind with these heavy Swedish heavies. There's just nothing you can do against this. Like, sniping the cupola, as you will see soon, is completely out of the question. And at this point, I actually thoroughly believe that we're gonna lose this game, because there's nothing you can do to an Emil there. We go for these YOLO shots into the cupolas, but they're just never gonna happen. Like, let's be real, that shit is just not gonna happen. And we go for a reload now, because obviously we don't have a choice, and now it is actually 3-on-3, and soon to be 2-on-3, because, you know, Emil 2 is completely broken whenever you can actually put it hull down. So not only we need to deal with an impossible to deal Emil 2, we also need to kill his super pushing and IS-3 friend. They are pushing at the moment, and our IS-3 is doing a good job of sitting hull down and doing some damage as well, so we might actually be able to deal with these guys if they play so aggressive. We obviously get penned there. Now I'm gonna finish off the super pushing. Sadly it took me 2 shots, but at least the super pushing dies in a position where we could abuse it. Also, IS-3 gets left on 1 hit point, and since the Emil 2 retreated and IS-3 fired, I thought it would be a nice thing to pick up the kill on the IS-3, but the Russian sidearm says fuck you. So now we're just stuck here. Emil versus Emil. It must be the dumbest matchup in this game now. I mean, Crankwagon versus Crankwagon, or Emil 3 versus Emil 3 is exactly the same, but this is just so abysmally stupid. I mean, at least if we were in an IS-7s, we could, you know, push up, kill the friends, and then roll on. But in these tanks, you just, like, the second you're not hull down, the enemy is just gonna shit on you, because the 12 degrees of under pressure means that the enemy Emil can drive up on that hill and just shoot me in the hull no matter what the angle is like, while an IS-7 would really struggle with that. And while I do generally believe that this tank is not like flat out overpowered, it's just so stupid. These kind of fights are just so dumb. And again, like, let's nerf accuracy, boys. That will make the game better. I mean, these cupolas are already fucking impossible to hit, but with the gun as bad as this, it's just like pointless. We're just looking at each other. I'm hoping that my friend IS3 has some HE so he can shoot that Emil, but it seems that he doesn't have any and I don't carry any in my tank either. Here the enemy Emil starts shooting me, so I elevate my gun so he cannot hit my cupolas as easily, and now I try to hit his cupolas, which is absolutely useless. Like, these kind of fights are just brain dead. There's nothing to them. It's just like, well, this is fun. This is clearly fun. Nerfing accuracy would definitely fucking improve this game. And it's not like if I carried heat, I would be able to pen him. Like, never in a million fucking years. So we're just stuck here looking at each other like fucking two idiots. Like, it's just sad. It's just generally sad. But at this point, I go for a reload, and I have a plan. I need to make the enemy Emil shoot. My reload is gonna be quicker than his if he does shoot. He shoots one now. We start counting his shots, and after he fires 4, we're gonna go for him. That was the second one, I believe. So we're gonna try to peek out and get him to shoot me as well. I cannot get penned here, because if I do, the IS-3 could finish me off, and we don't want that. So that's the third one. And we are waiting for the fourth one. We know that the Emil 2's reload is fucking atrocious. He does track me with the last shot as well, but we should have plenty of time to move up and deal with this now. We have to start off with the IS-3, and that's where we're gonna start. I think he shot the gun of the super Pershing. This time we don't get fucked by Russia sidearmers. So moving up now, I mean, I am confident that I will have enough time even driving through the water, and in a tank as slow as this, I should be able to rush him down and finish off this game with Bradley Walters, and guess what, that is exactly what happens. So once he's not hauled down, obviously he has no chance. That was a bit of a dodgy shot, and if I fucked that one up, I could have actually been fucked, but we end up winning that. So here's the end plate. Ace Tanker, 4650 experience. It is with the double. I think I was running the consumable. Bradley Walters, Top Gun, Steel Wall, and High Caliber. Did 6022 damage. Blocked 2205. And we caused hell of 152 damage with our assistance, as well as made 40,000 credits. Obviously picked up 8 kills and got 1550 base experience. So yeah, overall, Emil 2 is definitely one of the strongest tier 9 heavy tanks that is either okay-ish when you're not hauled down or flat out broken when you are. Obviously, it performs way better when there's no arty in the game, but that goes for any tank with any turret armor, obviously. And, you know, any game in any tank in general. The question, could I see this tank being nerfed in the future? Maybe, possibly, but I don't really see the nerf being on the turret armor side of things, as that is kind of, you know, the Swedish heavy thing. I could see the gunny getting even worse, but I don't know, man. It's not that much better than most other tier 9 heavies, but it is definitely one of the best, if not the best tier 9 heavy in the game. As you can see, my stats played pretty much only solo as well. I mean, I do have a bit higher damage per game in some of the tier 9 TDs, but I think this is actually my highest tier 9 heavy damage per game in the game at the moment. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this review, and I'll see you on the next one.